Cowboys Nation. How the hell y'all feeling right now?
Yo, this is Never Gallimore from the Dallas Cowboys, and I want to give a major shout out to Mike Tag. Keep bringing the hype to the Cowboys Nation. We love and appreciate it. Now, can you dig it?
What is up, Cowboys Nation? Your boy Mike Tag here. You can see who was at the game when Kelly starts talking, but hopefully you guys are having a great victory Monday. Make sure before we get rolling, you hit that like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. I'm terrible at saying it, so get that out of the way. But Kelly, we got a great show. We got a great guest, but I want to first see how you feeling. You say you didn't get on Twitter jail or anything like that. I was happy to see that. You didn't get me banned on YouTube. I was happy to see that. So far it's been a good Sunday Monday.
It's been great, man. I couldn't, I was celebrating last night. I had to jump on live. I rewatched that live video that I did last night. Boy, I was feeling it at that time. I think I lost track of how many beers I had, but I jumped on live. I wanted to talk, and I wanted to talk a little smack. And yeah, I kept it in check though, man. I was proud of myself, man. I watched the F-bombs. I think I dropped a couple, but then I apologized accordingly to YouTube.
I tell you, what I appreciated was you stopped. You said, "Man, I probably shouldn't have said that." You gave the whole script about we don't want to get in trouble on YouTube and everything, and then you kept talking. And you did that. Well, you probably, you're feeling it, like you said. So
yeah,
I like how you're thinking about the cave. You're thinking about the big picture all before that. But we've got a great show, and we are really, really excited. I'm excited because when the Cowboys put the beat down on the Eagles, that's sweet. But when you get a Cowboys legend, even though he's a Bama, even though he did McCain's dirty, we're not going to get into that. I promised Uncle Cheech earlier, who's a beloved Canes fan. I said, I'm not going to say anything bad. I'm not going to get into it too much, but he's got a great show on YouTube as well, podcast, Teague's Take. He does great stuff. He had Lamar Thomas on. That's what reminded me of the Canes. That was a pretty cool show. We're going to get into that. But a lot of people don't know he started with the Green Bay Packers first-round draft pick, and we did that talk about the rivalry, and I had Green Bay as one of our biggest rivals of all time. He was in the heat of it in the 90s, and then came to the other side, had some fun with the Cowboys, but I didn't even realize, and I've always been a big fan of George Teague, is who I'm talking about. In his career, he went to the playoffs every year but two. And I don't even know if he knows that. He probably does, but we're going to find out. So let's just not waste no more time. Let's bring the man in himself, Mr. George Teague. How are you doing today?
Man, it is a great day. I've been soaking this thing. I had to lay in the bed a long time this morning because I was feeling it like K9. MU2, as a matter of fact. I heard what time you got home.
Yeah.
So I had already just let the people know. I let them know actually on Friday don't expect to see me on Monday before noon. That's just what it's going to be. So it didn't matter which way it was going to go. I knew I was going to have a good time at the game, and I did, and it just made it even better because we trounced them boys.
Yeah, it was nice. And let me ask you, and then Kelly, definitely want you to jump in. Is we had a show Wednesday. We had some Philly guys on, and I'm telling you, going into this game, both Kelly and I very confident. I just had no doubt we were going to win, and I said I think if we play our game, we're going to smoke them. You cover, and you do a lot of stuff with the Cowboys, which we'll get into. Being around, did you have that same feeling, or maybe just the fans would just had that?
No, I did. Actually, on Sunday morning on the TV show that you alluded to on CBS that I do, a Cowboys pregame show live, I actually had us winning by 14 points. I actually picked us to win 38-14. I didn't think it was going to be that close because I did watch a lot of film, and you know what? It wasn't that I was being a homer. I just saw that their offense has kind of got stagnant. It's pretty easy. I'm just an analyst, and I'm just watching the film. I'm like, there ain't much to this shit on what they're. I don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe I ain't supposed to be cussing, like you said.
That's
You,
all right.
I don't know what kind of
on
you guys have on this.
You know, the F word gets you in trouble on YouTube. The other stuff's all right. I figured it out because I got warned a couple times.
Yeah, but you know that my whole point was in watching it. I knew their defense could be exposed, but then when I really started feeling comfortable, when I felt like, man, Dan Quinn could shut this down. And if you would have told me that they wouldn't have had an offensive touchdown, I would have told you're crazy on that. Yeah. But I think it just went back into me watching the film and saying that they were pretty simple fellas on offense. Not to take anything away from my boys. I'm just saying when you're watching these, it's way, way too vanilla. And that's not how they've been.
Well, you know, and I just thought about, you know, that when I came away from it after I had some time to think about it, you know, I knew that the offense was going to roll. I mean, Philly's secondary, man, they've been hanging on by a thread all year. And I feel like they've had a lot of luck, and that's not to discredit them and try to take anything away from them, but they've had a lot of things that have went their way. And, you know, eventually that comes to an end, and you can only live on that for so long. And I think that a lot of people kind of saw this coming, that eventually, you know, it was going to get to them. And if their offense couldn't keep up, then that defense was one that could be exposed. But what impressed me the most was the fact that our defense did hold them without a touchdown. I really wasn't expecting that. I was like when I saw that, and I'm sitting there like, man, Philly hasn't scored a touchdown all night long. And then they kept them out of the end zone I thought that was an impressive performance by the defense. And I thought it was pretty ironic that AJ Brown called out old Gilly, and he comes in there and strips the ball from him. Were you impressed by the physicality of this Dallas defense against this Philly offense? Because Dallas has often been talked about as not being a very physical team, but last night the team that I saw on the field looked physical on both sides of the ball, but especially on the defense. Did that surprise you how physical they were playing out there last night?
Yeah, I will answer that, but I want to say you were being real nice, and you're not always the nicest guy sometimes.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You're being really nice today, secondary.
I've had that effect on them.
Yeah, let me go ahead and say what he was trying to say. Their secondary has been trash. That's what was happening. Their secondary has been trash. The linebackers, the back half, okay?
Yeah.
They just haven't been able to stop the pass. So I felt like, man, it was a pick 'em. Whoever fantasy, just put somebody in there, and really everybody could have had touchdowns. So, but the physicality of our defense, man, is awesome, man. They're just on a whole different level. I think this is what we thought we were going to see at the beginning of the year, because I know how hyped I was, and we were talking about, is this the best defense ever, you know, and all this kind of stuff, and then we kind of fell off the radar when we hit Arizona, and we lose or whatever. But now it's just like they're mentally more focused, which is allowing them to play fast, to run into the doggone ball. That doggone Michael Parsons, man, it's unbelievable what he's doing when you get into the analytics of what's happening, getting double team all the time and still leading the league in pressures. I mean, it's crazy. And I know that's giving juice to Tank and Odigizua and everybody else around them. Them linebackers are flying to the doggone ball. That aren't even linebackers. Marquise, what's his name? Bell, 14, running around, and they're just driving with a nasty attitude. The DBs, I was shocked that Gilmore was following this dude around. I didn't know what to think of that. I was like, man, are they really – at the time, I didn't know they'd had the conversation. So I was like, are they really trying to – are they saying something to Bland like, hey, you can't cover this guy? Yeah. But then you hear the story of, he probably said, hey, man, let me get him. Let me get him. And that's a whole different level of saying, I don't know that people are going to have a whole lot of success moving the ball against us. I'm only worried about one.
Yeah, we'll get into that, but hey, I definitely want to give some love to Lunatic. He got a super chat, and that's a great way to support the channel. So we do appreciate it. And he just want to let you know, George, that we KO'd Filthy like you did to wide receivers. So Dallas Cowboy for life, big fan of yours. So definitely appreciate that. The Lunatic. Hopefully you're not a lunatic, but you're the Lunatic, so we're gonna call you that. So.
Yeah,
But,
I see. He asked if someone ever called me old. You know what? I don't know if everybody ever called me old, but they actually called me lucky. And I told them, "You're full of shit." That I was not lucky. I knew how to study, and I knew where I needed to be and how I needed to get there, and I took very good calculated risk. And I know that's why I played, 9 years.
Yeah. No, and did you know 7? Obviously, I guess I did. You got to know you were in the playoffs like every year.
You know what? I was very fortunate and blessed to be able to do that. I know at the tail end of my career, we kind of started not being so good with the Dallas Cowboys then, but coming in right from the beginning and going into the to the playoffs, and then actually escalating my way up with the Packers to play the Cowboys to get beat in a NFC Championship game. Oh, it just hurts me.
Well, let me ask you. I had Brian Broaddus. I was on a show with him, and I guess he was a scout with the
Yes.
Packers during that time. And I asked him the question because I always wondered. Now, you came to the Cowboys in '96, so you were on the other side of it. But in '96, the Packers could never beat the Cowboys, and I'm saying this because it's going to lead into what I want to get into later. Is they never could beat us. And in '96, we played them, and I remember. I think we hit 7 field goals. We beat them like 21-6 in the regular season. Beat them again. We go to the playoffs, and we end up losing to the Panthers. And everyone thought it was going to be Dallas, Green Bay, and it was going to be in Green Bay. And here's their chance, and it didn't happen. And Green Bay goes on to win the Super Bowl. And I said, did that leave any kind of feeling? And any players like, man, we really wanted to win the Super Bowl, but we wanted to beat Dallas to get there just to prove it to ourselves. He said, not so much. Be careful what you wish for. I think they're happy Dallas wasn't in there. But as a player, is that something you ever would think about?
No, I think I'd be on the side of Broaddus with that. I don't think they would have wanted any part of us, being here. I wanted some being on this side because I felt like I needed to get a little bit of revenge or something for that nature for them to trade me out of there the year before. But typically, you know what, when we're talking about it, it's just you want to try to find the easiest path. And that's what the Cowboys are doing now. You got to get the number 2 or number 1 and try to figure out how to get home games so you can have some type of advantage. And if someone can get knocked out, I mean, we're just like how you guys are sitting here in the man cave talking, man, what's the best way for to do it? We're strategizing. We're human too. And we sit there like, man, you know what? If we don't have to play them, shit. Great.
Yeah.
Give it this other dude because I really don't want to tackle Barry Sanders anymore or whatever it is. We're realistic about it. We're going to say the right stuff. Hey, one game at a time. Come on, it's next man up. All those keywords. But really, man, we like, hey, bro, Jerry Rice, if someone can knock them off, let's please knock them off because I'd rather play somebody else, other than Randy Moss or Jerry Rice or whoever.
Yeah, and it was interesting. Just one more thing, Kelly, when you jump in, I see I get rambling, but definitely want to give some love, SoCal, for subscribing. And in here, now we're getting everyone kind of jumping in. Make sure you guys go over to Teague's Take and you subscribe. Excellent. Yeah. Obviously, the man knows football like no other. He does some Bama stuff, so we overlook that a little bit. But the knowledge of football is like no other. And him and his son JT do a phenomenal job, and they've had great guests and that kind of stuff. So make sure you guys hop over to that as well. So anyway, go ahead, Kelly. I just wanted to get that out of the way.
No, I was just going to talk about first of all, I agree with you, George, on that. The whole thing about the Niners. Like if I don't have to see the Niners, I don't want to see it. It's like if you fight somebody so many times and you get your ass whooped. every time you go up against that person. You probably don't want to fight that person anymore. If you can get around that person in advance, like, that's the scenario. I'd rather not play the 49ers in the playoffs, but it is what it is. But when it comes to this team right now, there's been some talk from people, and they've talked about, the thing about the Cowboys that just won't go away is that this is the team that can't get over the hump. It's been how many years we hear about all the time, 30 some years, Cowboys can't get past the divisional round. And there's been many years where we've had good teams, and it feels like this team is on the verge of doing something special, and then we see the similar results that we've seen in the playoffs. But the confidence level in this team, to me, and maybe it's just me as the fan just getting roped in, but I want your perspective from an ex-player. Their confidence level just seems to be different. There seems to be something different about this team this year, where going into these games, you just feel like they're more consistent. And you just, after that San Francisco game, it just seems like they've found their identity. They know who they are. And week in and week out, this is the team that we see and you can expect to see. Now, obviously, there can be a bad game here or there, but does this team did they seem different to you at all from previous year's teams?
Yeah, they do. And I think I'm going to give what Mike McCarthy does at the facility, other than just X's and O's. He's really like what you want from a high school coach, or a college coach, of the inspirational piece. Like, hey, we can do this. Trust in what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do. Hey, man, we got our asses whooped. We got knocked in the face early. Man, I got a plan. Just stick with me and do this. And you start to hear about the compilation videos of things that he shows, whether it's good or bad. Hey, here are all the bad things that we did. We got to stop doing this, or here's what you guys look like when you do it the right way. And we got to do this. And they're still 22. We forget that they're 22, 23, impressionable dudes.
Yeah.
And they buy into that. And I got to witness that. So I don't know if you guys know that I was actually had the opportunity to go sit in their quarterback mini camp, and around the first part of training camp. So I got to watch the coaches work, and I got to sit in the meetings and watch this stuff go on, which is different. I didn't even have that like that when I was playing. It was mostly just, hey, handle business, don't get fined, be on time, the old school type of way. He has a lot of that, but he has this other piece that if you really listen to him and you listen to how he built that relationship with Aaron Rodgers, he's doing the same thing with Dak, building that trust, allowing him to be that. And that's something different. And that's getting into what you guys are saying of why they're so different, because they got this belief and this trust for each other. Not soft, we boys, all that kind of stuff. It's really more like, no, we're going to scrap for you now. Make sure you get it. I saw I don't know if you paid attention to it, but there was a running play. I can't even tell you what it was, and maybe I should find it. And they got outside of Micah. He took an inside stunt.
Yep.
The other guy was supposed to go outside him, I know, and Micah looked at him, and he didn't go off, but he kind of gave him that, like, hey, man, like, where you at? Is that sense of accountability of like, dude, you making me look bad because they looking like I just got blocked all the way down the side. Get your butt outside where you're supposed to be. And that's the difference. And that's what's going to make us a better team all the way through, because they're going to play for each other.
Yeah. And that's interesting with being in the quarterback room. I just had Kelly and I were kind of talking about it. McCarthy's kind of had a history with quarterbacks, and I love the hire, but for some reason fans, and I know fans, they just got to hate because it's the easiest thing to do sometimes. They complain about. I thought he was about football and the distractions of everything that comes with the Cowboys. He was just going to put that aside. And when James Jones was on a show this morning, and they were talking about Dak Prescott, and he had said before the season, he says, when Mike McCarthy is able to do what Mike McCarthy, when Kellen Moore gone, and no disrespect to him, he said, you're going to see the best Dak Prescott that you're ever going to see, and it's not going to go away because they were saying, hey, when is he going to go back, or whatever reason, like he wasn't really good before. But McCarthy just seems to have such an influence on Prescott in such a positive way. Is that something you kind of saw in the quarterback room? Is that kind of what you're alluding to?
No, absolutely. That dude is chill, man. He's laid back and he's funny. He's cool, and he is a good delegator as well, too, right? But he's so meticulous, man. He's one of the best coaches, and I've heard other coaches say this about him too. Okay, so it's not just my words. I'm taking this from some professional coaches of being able to fine-tune the situational parts of football, all the things that we had to worry about. Remember, we couldn't get we were terrible in red zone. It's not like that anymore, right? So he goes and figures this stuff out and try to do this stuff. And then he takes that to Dak, and others say, okay, here are your strength. This is what you got to do. I'm telling you, throw it here. Or talking to the wide receivers. Hey, when he starts scrambling, you got to get to the front pylon. You got to get to the back pylon. If he ain't there, there's going to be another guy coming up by the goalpost. There are your options. If not, run the ball, throw it away, something of that nature. So that relationship that he's building with him, I don't think Kellen Moore did that. Like you said, I'm not trying to disrespect him. I think he just had a system in place and it was what it was. But watching Mike in every little thing, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 6 to 9, whatever, 2nd and short, it was something, it was so, I'm saying complex, but he broke it down so easy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it took us this part for them to really kind of understand, hey, this is how I'm going to call the game. This is who I am. This is what I'm going to do. 4th down, we're going for it, bro. Forget that not throwing the ball to CD, whatever, because of whatever the system. Throw the damn ball to CD, man. He in double coverage, but so I'm a big Mike McCarthy fan, man.
Wow. It's music to my ears. And I wanted to just, we've got so many questions, and I figure we'll just do a quick, maybe knock a few of them out real quick. People get an opportunity to ask you something. They love it. And then Kelly definitely jump in with the next one. But just real quick, are you in favor of outlawing the tush push? If not, how would you defend against it?
Okay. No, I'm not in favor of outlawing the tush push. That may surprise people because honestly, everybody else just need to figure out how to damn do it. It ain't, no one's getting hurt yet that we've been doing that. So whatever. They just figured out how to damn do it. And that just because someone's really, really good at it and other people aren't, that don't mean, who cares? That would be like saying get rid of some. At that time, the back shoulder fade. Imagine that. It was a point where you could never stop Michael Irvin and Troy Aikman from throwing this damn back shoulder fade or this quick out. I hated it playing for the Pack when I was with the Packers. Could never, ever stop it. But it never came to my mind like, hey, man, y'all got to outlaw that route and that little push-off that he does because man, you got to figure out how to do it.
That's a Miami thing. That's a Miami thing. You know that.
So here's what you got to do to stop the tush push. And it would be, you'd have to be very disciplined. You got to be willing to get under the pile. So if you look, every team, we were a little bit better this past week, but every team that tries to do the stop the tush push, they go over the top. That is absolutely wrong because all they're doing under there is bear crawling at your legs, right? So he's just kind of gliding over the top, right? And that's what they are doing. They're getting their head down. If you watch any of the close-up stuff, they're getting their head down and they're just running their feet. You really got to get under there and take those offensive linemen legs out so they can't move. I mean, think of it like wrestling or whatever you got to do. You got to get under there and ain't nobody going to see you hold them or grab them because there's too much shit going on under there. You got to get their legs out. Particularly on their left side. What's his name? Maliatu.
It seems like him and Kelsey are the big, the ones that caused the problem with it. But I had said that you got to be physical, and don't take this the wrong way. Don't leave me. But you gotta you got to hit the quarterback hard enough to where he may not want to do it anymore.
Well, absolutely.
Is that fair, or is that being maybe not nice?
No, it's fair, but he's
hard to
it's
hit.
a little bit harder because if you jump and you're trying to get to him, there's not very much punch once you lose your feet.
Yeah, it's so easy for them, and I get it, and it's just so I don't know.
Well,
It's a great. I don't think you should outlaw it. I don't think they should ban it.
Well, you saw that last time we played the Eagles. Micah tried to go over top, looked like he crowd surfed for about 3 or 4 yards. I mean, just you can't. That's what they're doing. You notice how when they do that, the Eagles' offensive line, you see how low they get. I mean, they are. I mean, almost nose to the ground. And that's and he's just coming in behind that, and he's just basically riding that momentum. And then he's got some guys pushing him from the back. So I mean, it's a hard play to stop. I think they've only had maybe 2 times this whole year that it's ever been stopped. So I mean, if you've got a play like that works, it's one of those things that keep doing it until they figure out how to stop it.
No.
Did you guys wrestle?
I wrestled. I was going to say I would do the low double leg into the ankles. Is that, I guess what's worse? You got to get a penalty if you get called for it or something. But that's what I would do then.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, I don't know, but whatever.
It's interesting. So one question, this is for Kelly and for yourself, Mr. Teague, and then myself. His question is, how do you think the Cowboys are going to finish? I said they're going to slip up against the Dolphins or the Bills. So I had said I just don't know if the division is in our grasp because of that. We'll start with you, Kelly, and then finish with Mr. Teague. What do you think, Kelly?
Well, up until the Eagles game, I was kind of thinking that same thing. But like I told you before the show, we kind of talked about this a little bit. My confidence just continues to grow with this team every week. So I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at a Josh Allen who turns the ball over. We're going to play Josh Allen. I know it's in Buffalo, but Josh Allen turns the ball over a lot. I feel like that's a winnable game. I feel like this defense can get turnover. And when this defense gets turnovers, it's like an avalanche. It's like it's a feeding frenzy, and then the offense feeds off it. And so I think we can beat Buffalo. Miami, I do think that's going to be a tough one. Tyreek Hill's a guy who's on a tear right now. But honestly, I have a hard time thinking that we lose any of these games. I feel like we can go in and I feel like we could win every single one of these games if the Cowboys play the kind of ball that they've been playing. At worst, I see them losing one game along the way, but I've got pretty strong confidence that they could actually run the table. And, I'm sure people will call me a homer for that, but with the way they've been playing, I mean, Dak Prescott's playing. I mean, right now he's reading defenses better than anybody in the league. And that's, widely accepted amongst anybody watching football right now. So when you got your quarterback playing like that, and then when you've got your defense who has started to really come on, that's a dangerous combo, hard to beat. So,
well, I can concur with exactly what you're saying. I think you stole my note sheet or whatever it is over here, because what I will add to it is that we got a little bit more confidence, right? If before we didn't have any wins against any teams that had a winning record, so the first one was beating Seattle. You got, who are they? Whatever. They had a winning record. We beat them, right? It was close. That was the first start of the incline. Then you have Philly come in, the almighty big dogs or whatever, and then we totally handle them. So that's going to carry into this Buffalo game. And I don't think Buffalo got enough. I don't think they can't run the ball well. Yeah, Josh Allen, he's going to throw some picks or whatever you're going to do. Yeah. I think we'll be fine. You shut Diggs down like they've been doing. I think it's going to be a pretty good game for us as long as we can handle the weather. I don't even know what it's going to to be. Yeah,
it's supposed to be nice. They said it's supposed to be nice.
So that'll be good. I'm with you, K9, that it's I'm scared to death of Tyreek, man. It don't matter. You throw him a quick slant or a bubble or something. If you even try to match up with him, so many people run crossing routes on us, and that's what he likes to do. I love Stephen Gilmore and all that kind of stuff too, and chasing AJ Brown, but Tyreek is different, man. And he's running them crossing routes. If you a little bit behind, he ain't Devontae Smith, them dudes, he might just be gone, So we got to be very cautious with that. But then you got Waddle on the other side who's just as fast. And then you got DA-Chain or however you say his name.
Yeah.
I want to call him the Acme or something. I need to call him it give me problems. But they just got a lot of weapons.
Yeah.
And we're going to Miami.
Right.
That's and I just feel like that could be a trap game. Everybody else, I'm not really. I don't worry about Buffalo. I do worry about Miami.
Yeah. Miami speed's the one thing, and Kelly and I, again, we had this conversation, and tell us if we're wrong, because it got a little heated with the Philly guys. CD gets discredited because they say he plays in the slot, and so he can't be considered one of the best receivers in the NFL. You being, a great safety in the secondary, and I mean, what is your thoughts on that? I mean, is that garbage, or is there any facts to that if you're considered in the group of one of the great wide receivers in the NFL?
Well, first, let me say this: whoever said that is full of crap. Because CD is a damn good football player, and playing in the slot even makes it more special. Go look at his stats, everybody. All right, now just look this up. It's fresh on my mind because I was studying for this thing. In the slot, CD has he had over 500 plus yards out of the slot. He also had over 500 plus yards on the outside. What does that mean? That means he's damn good at both of them. A lot of people can't do that. When you look at other people's stats, they're either very, very good outside or they're very, very good inside. Take a Godwin, for example, from
Tampa.
Use those two guys.
Yeah.
Mike Evans gets all his yards on the outside. He don't do it from the inside.
Yeah.
Godwin don't get his yards from the outside. He get on the inside. You got someone like CD that line him up anywhere because he's going to beat the – y'all remind me of this, okay? I want y'all to text me or something, and it's going to be just for y'all. I've got one clip. It's on my phone because I was breaking down some film. CD got triple teamed out of the slot. I'm not bull jiving y'all, man. It's unbelievable. The linebacker came over, smacked him. The safety pushed him this way, and they got the safety over the top. Bro, who's doing that for some wide receiver? And that's letting Ferguson eat. That's let Cooks eat.
Yeah,
this kind of thing. So then you got to, if he goes outside now, how many times you seen that little motion? I don't even know what it's called. Where he lines up in the slot, then he motions outside, right?
Yep.
Messing up people's leverage. Now he's getting jiggy with it. I don't know. You got me fired up on whoever said that he
and this was their argument. Was because he doesn't play on the main. He never lines up against the best cornerbacks. We use him against the weak guys. So that was their argument, which I think is garbage.
And my whole argument was, you're telling me the fact that you got a receiver that's versatile enough to play outside and inside is a bad thing because he find to maybe match up against. I mean, I don't know if maybe it's just me not thinking right, but I mean, football is all about matchups. So if you've got a guy that's good enough to play outside on the number 1 corner, but you can also mismatch him and get him on the number 2 corner, or maybe in the slot against the number 3 corner, like that's playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers. Like, that's what you're supposed to do, is create mismatches, and CD is versatile enough to do that. So in my opinion, like, that's better than being just a one-trick pony that only lines up on the outside.
Yeah.
Somebody that's you talking to somebody that don't know a damn thing.
It's a Philly fan. Let's put it.
You're talking to someone that don't know anything about football. That's crazy. Just because, I mean, even AJ Brown is in the slot 30% of the time, 40% of the time, whatever, and outside, just a little bit more. But the guy's good like that. So
you know how it is, man. You gotta get some hate. You gotta get some hate. So one of the things, Kelly, you got a question on the Cowboys? I was gonna.
Well, I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask George, what do you think about as far as our kicker, Brandon Aubrey? What do you think about this young man coming in? And I mean, because the Cowboys have had some ups and downs at kicker, and I feel like that is it's become one of the positions on the team that is the most solidified, in my opinion, because every time that guy lines up, it's money. And last night, 60 and 59 yards. I mean, that 60-yarder he could have hit from probably 67. It had plenty of life left. So I just, speak a little bit about that. I don't feel the kickers get a whole lot of love, man, but Brandon Aubrey's had a hell of a season.
Man, go ahead and give that man his incentive money or whatever he needs, because that dude is a beast. And he just does it so easy. It's not like he ain't even sweating, man. He just kind of nonchalant, like he's swinging a little 9-iron or something, and just like, I got this. And it's unbelievable that you come in your first year, coming off of soccer or whatever he was doing, and just nailing these things like that. It's crazy ridiculous on how good he is. So I'm hoping that, I don't know, he's still on the rookie contract. He might not get no money at any point in time soon, but I would hope they would give him just a nice little check or Jared said, hey man, job well done. Here go a little something extra for you for breaking records and bringing more football. I see it. That he's the real deal, man. You hope he stays healthy and strong, and just all that kind of stuff that didn't get, any type of mental type of stuff, because the dude's a weapon, man. You're just not afraid to line him up at 60 and just be like, hey, just run the ball real fast and let the clock run down, and then we go kick it. I'm like, nah, man, let's try to get the first. But he deserves a whole lot of credit. All pro, everything. I don't know when all that stuff come out. He already need to be the number one kicker. It is what it is.
I said you could, and I don't think it ever happened. Could you make an argument for him to be rookie of the year? I mean, over a quarterback. I mean, CJ Stroud's having a good year. I mean, but he's been pretty important to the team. I mean, it's pretty,
I see that. Do they have it? Now that you make me do it, do they have like a, they got defensive player of the year, offensive player of the year? They don't have a special team player of the year or something like that?
No. So it would be interesting. I guess maybe they don't have him a lot or something like that, but it would be interesting. He's definitely one that probably 99.99% of Cowboy fans owe an apology to, because I think all of us were like, when they had him, here we go with a kicker, because we saw the Maher, and all the stuff that we've been through. So it's definitely good to it makes you sleep a little better at night, knowing that he's there kicking it. So couple other questions, and I want to ask you something, maybe get your insight on something of my concern with the Cowboys. But one of the questions, do you prefer protector of the star, defender of the star, or you don't care?
Okay. Let me tell you my other concern I got for you. What the hell is wrong with Miami and the Hurricanes? I mean, anyway, I just got to bring that up because your Hurricanes.
Listen, you and I, we're going to talk a little bit about this.
What's the name of that bowl game y'all going to? I don't even know. Pinstripe Bowl. So,
how the mighty have fallen. Do you have some more comments about that?
What is that? But anyway, I am, and I do get it sometimes. Some people, the protector of the star, whatever. No, I'm the defender of the star. I'm the defender of the star.
That's the way I do it.
So that's the way that I like it. That's the way I sign it whenever I feel like writing that many words on a autograph, something of that nature.
You get that extra for the inscription. I know how that works. So.
That's right. I know, because you big time like that too. You get money for your autographs too. I tried to get Mike Tag's autograph line out there to the stadium. He was wrapped around there talking about, hey, autograph $25. I said, hell no, man. This dude, I follow him on Twitter, man. I'm supposed to get a free autograph.
Man.
I went NIL agent, and I said, man, that's too much right there.
I got one autograph request in my life, and I asked the guy 5 times, are you sure? Are you sure? He wanted him to sign this jersey. They said, man, are you sure? He goes, no, man, please. I said, all right, man, I'll do it. I feel bad. But no, it was – I mean, I'm sure for you it may get old. I mean, I got to think maybe it gets old. I mean, you're, being approached and that through the years. Does that ever kind of – I mean, do you have a philosophy there's a time and a place, or are you pretty –
I think there's always the time and the place, meaning, what you guys fans have given to me and my family is My wife would tell you that sometimes she gets mad. She's like, really? You're going to stop and sign the daggone autograph or talk to the person or whatever? You just never know who you're going to meet, what's going to happen, what kind of opportunity I'm going to get later. That one little conversation or that one simple little autograph, probably, it could turn into something big for my daughter or my son. I like to think of it that way. It might not be, if I can bless this other person, they might remember something when I call you guys and be like, hey man, my daughter needs a little something, that could go a long way. So I think of it that way. The only piece that I would say that probably gets aggravating to us is after you've done it a long time. So now it's not the one-off, but maybe I've already signed for an hour and a half. I've been cheesing, I've been smiling, I've been doing whatever, I've been all the falseness I could do or whatever. Then I'm done. And now maybe no one knows. I'm trying to sit down, I'm trying to watch the game, and then someone else wants to come up and ask me some more questions. Now I'm like, bro, I'm tired. I don't feel like doing it. I want to watch the football game. I don't really feel like talking about the play, this kind of thing. And so I just hope people can understand that part of it, that a lot of times we might have been talking to somebody for 3 hours, literally. We might have got paid, but man, it happened at the game. Honestly, my wife was like, man, you probably need to talk to them people over there because you might know. I was like, I can't, man. I ain't mentally there. I'm tired. I'm really trying to watch this game. I ain't trying to smooze with these people in this box right now because I'm hoping we go ahead and whoop their ass or whatever. And I don't want to miss.
Yeah. You
want to enjoy the game.
Yeah,
that's right. I do. I'm a fan too, man.
Yes.
I'm watching. I'm trying to see what's going on. I don't want to be. No, I don't have time to be talking about politics or nothing else at this point right now.
Well, I can tell you, a lot of the stuff you see in this cave, people always say, "Oh man, you spent." I'd probably say, looking around, 90% of it I got myself as a kid, and I met Emmitt Smith a couple times. And I've gotten a ton of stuff by Emmitt Smith. And the funny thing is, as I've gotten older, I've never really asked, and I don't really ask people for their autograph anymore. If it's in a controlled setting, I will, but I'm not going to run around and chase, with the kids and get the autographs. So the funny thing is Emmitt Smith was my favorite player, growing up. And I was probably 10 years ago, I'm going up the elevator in Tampa, or the escalator, and right in front of me is Emmitt Smith. It's 7 a.m. I'm dressed for work. He's dressed for work. He had to know that I recognized him maybe because of the smile on my face. I didn't say anything to him, but when he went left and I went right, all I said was, Mr. Smith, thank you so much for the memories. And I just kind of walked away. I don't know if it surprised him because he probably gets attacked, but it was one of those things. It was a cool memory for me. I didn't get a picture with him or nothing, but I try and be respectful to players. But I think back to like this weekend, I'm sorry to get long-winded. But my son's favorite player is Dez Bryant. And he does that tailgate. And it was a great time, but it was a mob scene. I don't know how they can do that in that environment. I would say if I was a player, I would have been fearful because it was just a mob of people going at him. And all that was separating him and Diggs was a table. It wasn't really put together well. But this was a paid thing. I paid a VIP to get my son to get a picture with him and do all of that. And I was like, dude, I saw the look on my son's face and he had that disappointed look on it. And I'm just like creeping in. And this is the one time I used Mike Tag to my advantage. The guy that was his handler followed me on Twitter. And because I ran into him the time before and I just kind of made eye contact with him and I put up my hand and I showed him a thing and he pushed me, because he knew my son, because I talked to him about before, and he got my son up with him and got an autograph with Dez Bryant and all that. So I don't know if you've been to that. Be careful if you go. It's a lot of fun. It was one of the best times. But I feel for the athletes, I guess is what I'm saying is. So I've kind of, as I gotten older, I've kind of backed away from it. I don't even have a George Teague in the cave because I never met you. Growing up and in person, but you're always one of my favorites. I still have your Green Bay Packer rookie card. I was trying to find it I was going to show you to make a joke out of it. I still remember what you looked like in there, so it was cool. But yeah, anyway, I got long-winded with the question. Last one, and then we'll get into it. Is Did you wear long sleeves when it was sub 30-degree temperatures?
The heck, yeah.
This guy said
About,
he said there's no way you would have done it, so you did. Okay.
man, you must be crazy. Listen, man, the coldest game. I just told someone this to just go look it up. Go Google the December 26, 1993, temperature in Green Bay. December 26, 1993. Okay. And it's gonna tell you what the temperature was. And that was the coldest damn game actually first or second coldest game I ever played in. You find that. I see Tag looking it up. Y'all looking
I'll look it up.
It's 20 below. So
hell no.
Whatever you talking about, it was my rookie year. I came out of Alabama. I wasn't dealing with none of this type of stuff. There was no way they wanted you to rub all the, hey man, put the Vaseline on you and put these little things on your hands or whatever. No, sir. Because when you get hit on your skin like that, I get it, being a tough guy and all that, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't keep my feet warm.
Was that against the Raiders?
Yep, it sure was.
Wind chill -20.
Yes, sir. So, bro, there was no reason for me to try to pretend like I wasn't cold because everybody on the field was cold. It didn't matter what they what they thought. It was brutal outside in Lambeau Field. So you're talking about home field advantage. Good Lord. Can you imagine the Raiders coming into that, trying to play at 20 below? They wanted to be out of there so fast. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you about that. You say that, right? Home field advantage. You grew up in Alabama. A lot of, Brett Favre grew up in Mississippi. Not exactly the coldest spots. Is that a myth when they say they got a home field advantage? Because if a lot of the players grew up, not in that climate, do you just tend to get used to it and it becomes an advantage? Or is that kind of a myth? I've always wondered that. I was just curious.
No, because it is a home field advantage because we still have to practice in it. That was the thing that they forced you. We had the indoor piece, but they're like, hey, guys, we're going outside. Get whatever you're going to get like you're going to be in the game because we're going to practice out here for 2.5 hours or whatever it's going to be so that you can get used to it. I mean, it's brutal. Everybody's out there practicing like, man, how can you be most effective? But you have to get out there in the elements to actually understand it so you can feel, hey, get your shoes right. It was all the other pieces, while trying to figure out, hey, what kind of shoes do I kind of wear? Which gloves am I going to feel the most? What kind of shirt, like you said, which one do I want to wear? Do not want to wear any at all. So it does become an advantage. Doesn't mean that I still wasn't cold, but I knew when Mike Holmgren said, hey, we're practicing outside for, an hour, I was like, even though I lived up there, it's just different trying to go catch a ball.
Yeah.
And the ball is literally like concrete. Yes. Yeah. You can't. The wide receivers had to know how to do that. And you can't simulate that if you're in Tampa Bay. You just can't. In Green Bay, we could simulate heat. Not quite the same, but we could go inside and they would crank that heater up to make it 100, 120 degrees in there, so you at least had a sense of, God, dog, I got to feel like I'm sprinting in this. But going the other way to the cold, there's no way to prepare for it.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I don't think toughness has anything to do with being cold or hot. I think cold is cold no matter who you are. And I know if I was playing, I always look at these dudes that are out there when they're playing in like Buffalo and stuff. These dudes are playing, they don't got the long sleeves on. I said I'd have the long sleeves on. I'd have the thermal sleeves on.
I'm not gonna be too act like I'm that tough.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I don't need to look tough. I want to look warm. But
I don't know what it proves. I would say that to my guy. I'm like, what are you trying to prove? That like you're like macho? You're an NFL player, dude. Everybody know you tough. I mean, there's not that much mental on the other side. They still gonna try to run through you or whatever. They're gonna be like, oh, he ain't got no sleeves on, so we better not run that way. Well, please. They still coming at you.
No,
Well, hey, I had a question about something that's been talked about in the NFL this year, and it's been on the defensive side of the ball. It's become kind of a hot topic, and it looks like the NFL competition committee is talking about banning this tackle. They call it the hip drop tackle. Now, I've watched this plenty of times, and I mean, I feel like this is the competition committee nitpicking. I just don't, and I'm gonna defer to you. You're a defensive player. You know all about how you should tackle, wrap up in this. Is this a tackle that has come about? Do you think this is something where that when the defender comes in that there is an intention to injure somebody there? Because I understand that it kind of rolls up on the back of their legs, but I mean, I feel like when you're tackling somebody running at full speed, they're coming from behind, like on that Mark Andrews play. That's the one in particular that started getting a lot of attention. I mean, I felt like the guy that came in to tackle him was. I mean, I didn't really know how else he would have tackled him. But again, I don't know. I just feel like that's just again pushing this thing aware to where it's like, how are defenders supposed to tackle anybody anymore? I mean, I don't know. What are your opinions on that?
No, I agree with you because. Listen, man, and no, it wasn't egregious. People aren't out there trying to intentionally hurt someone or do something, but you get limited with what you can do when when you're trying to tackle an offensive player, right? So leading into that, you know what pisses me off the most? When they can grab your face mask, and that's what leads into these tackles, right? So if you grab theirs, you graze theirs or whatever, 15 yards. But when they're stiff arming you all up in your grill or whatever, it really I don't know how y'all feel about people hands in y'all face, but especially when you're in a game like this, you're on national television, you know they're trying to Derrick Henry you or whatever.
Yeah.
You got to do whatever you can to hurry up and get them people on there. And that's pretty much basically how Javon Curse broke his arm. He had to do something just to hold on and fall down Goddard's arm, right? And so, no, I don't think it should be banned. It's already enough. I'm all for player safety. I got it. I played the game, and I'm doing that. Can't hit him in the knee. You can't cut. You can't hit him in the head. You don't grab him by the horse collar. Now it's going to be, well, don't fall down when you have what do you want? I mean, you already see guys now not tackling, and I hate that part. And now they don't want to hit. They don't want to throw the quarterback down because they're worried about. I'm watching Lamar Jackson get twirled around 8 times. Blow the doggone whistle then. If we can't tackle him when he in the grass. That's it. Don't let him get away and start trying to run this thing, because if you tap him just a little bit, man, that's probably my biggest pet peeve, and is what you say. That I think they're going to make it too hard for guys to even try to tackle now. Okay, am I on the side of him or not? And can I fall? I mean, it's going to turn into ugly football. I mean, if you wanted to be basketball scores, it's going to be 80 to 70.
Just do away with defense altogether. And it just feels like that the more that they continue to like push these different rule changes, say, well, this is illegal. I feel like the officiating in the NFL this year has been really under a lot of scrutiny, because there's been a lot of. So then now you're talking about, you're putting just another emphasis on the game that these officials now have to. I feel like they already have to monitor a million things. I mean, I feel like there could be a penalty called on damn near every play that happens out there, Mm-hmm. So it's just another thing that you have to put on these officials in a time where they're already having to look for a billion other things. And I don't know. I just think it's kind of sad that the NFL has, they keep saying that they're doing this for player safety. And I don't buy that. I think that it is because they want, this game is about offense, and that's what it's become, is that they want high scoring games. They don't want to see their offensive stars go down. So they're like, well, if this is something that we think he can get injured on, we're not. And that's not what, me personally, that's not what made me fall in love with football. I fell in love with the defensive side of the football. I love watching people hit and get hit. And somebody coming over the middle, catch the ball and just get lit up. I mean, that'll bring me up off my couch more than a touchdown pass.
Everybody gets excited about that. I don't know why people would talk about it. Any kind of fight, pre-game, in-game. So now everybody, what's going on? What's going on? Oh, did you see that? Did you see that hit? I mean, that's what people really want to see. And players know that. It's not that we're into this like, hey, you better not. The ones that don't want to get touched don't last very long in the league. Until you start making rules like this. The officials are in a bad spot. There's too many damn cameras everywhere. They're always going to be wrong because now we got technology in this case. Okay, we get to see it, but there's cameras in the down markers, in the pylons, and there's now they didn't create another end zone camera. I don't know how. There's just angles everywhere. So really, they just out there to blow the whistle. They might as well just let AI just take over and be like, holding. Buzz it in, such and such did it, because you're not. They're probably getting lazy because they know. Well, if I miss it, someone from New York just gonna hit the button and be like, "Hey, man, dude got concussed too, so you might want to stop the play because he hit his head on the turf." I mean, none of that was going on before. It's player safety. I got it.
Yeah, no,
but
jacked up, man. You remember ESPN jacked up, and then all the hitting follies and all that kind of stuff, the hard hitting tapes they made. So, but it's changed. I mean, I get it. And thank you, Steven, for the super chat, $10. Appreciate it. You guys are helping Kelly get to the games with me, man. I do appreciate that, or at least Kelly does. But just one question I know Steve asked, PJ asked, is there, people obviously that iconic picture of you. Do you have a website, or do you do anything where people can get a signed picture of that defending the Star? Or you mainly just, I know you do some signings, you do some signings around, the country and stuff, but
I do.
Site.
I do. But I want to ask K9 first. What the hell you got behind that camera, that curtain back there, man? Just I'm just sitting here like, man, you got something behind this flag you got behind you back there. You feeling like somebody about to pop out back there from behind you.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
What's going on?
Nobody's popping out of here.
You know what I'm saying, man? Shoot, you got all them bad Eagle fans back there. You locked up back there behind the flag.
Might have a few of them back there.
Yeah. So, hey, this is new, fairly new or whatnot. I've been tweeting about it a little bit. And y'all make sure y'all follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Teague Football. Yes. But on Millions, if you guys hadn't really seen this, it's a really good way to get in touch with a lot of athletes. Millions.co, right? Millions.co. If you go online, you look up athlete's name, says athletes, search athletes, put George Teague in there. It'll take you to my page. And I do sell the Defender of the Star pictures on there. It comes right to me, right? You can get it. You punch it in there. I'm the one that's going to mail it to you. You're going to send the money to Millions or whatever. They're going to contact me and say, hey, someone just bought one of your cards. Someone just bought one of your jerseys. Someone just wants one of your Alabama pictures, one of your Cowboy pictures. And it's all on there. It's just listed on there. You pick it. I send it to you. So that's the way that you can find it. You can't get those pictures except other than through me anyway. The ones I have on there are the 8x10 ones. It'll be signed and autographed. Typically, I send a like a little video to them that they could send to you that shows that I actually signed it. It's kind of a cool way. A lot of people just send you the certificate. You know, I like to send a video and say, hey, thank you, Mike Tag, for buying this picture. They forward that over to you so you know that we have it. So millions.co. That's millions.co.
I haven't heard of it. Are you on?
Already went on there, man. I'm looking at replica jersey, signed replica jersey by George Teague right there.
There you go.
Look at there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do Cameo?
No. So this is I don't know if they want me to actually promote it this way, but basically this is all of this is included. It's the same thing. If you want me to send you a video or something, you go in there. Hey, can you send me a message? Can you hang out with me or whatever? And you can just.
I wonder why they haven't reached. I'm on Cameo. They should, if they're a competitor, they want me on there. I did a Cameo in front of AT&T this weekend.
You got to tell them that you played for the University of Miami. You do got to be some type of. You got to prove to them that you told us some stuff back first. So.
I think it's a cool thing, and I've done. I've probably done like 200 cameos. It's actually a lot of fun. to be able to kind of interact with people. And I turned down my first one, and believe it or not, I'm not going to say what it was, but I went to Kelly as the voice of reason. I never got a cameo before, but basically it was something bad that a woman did to her guy, and they wanted me to break the news or say something, and I was like, I'm not doing it. So I declined.
You can't do that, man.
No.
You can't do
I was
that.
like, you know what? You guys are gonna clip my video, and I'm gonna see it all over. Yeah, no one's knocking on my door. But hey, we're running through time, and there's so much I want to get to. So real quick, my one concern with the Cowboys, and I've kind of talked about it, is the running game. It's just not feeling good for me. It just doesn't seem like it's there enough for my like. And everyone says, Mike, calm down. It's a passing league. But maybe I'm old school, but I think when you got a 5-minute, 7-minute drive at the end, and you're up by 4, you want to run it. You want a guy that, you want a game that's going to do it. Do you see that, or is it just me being old school?
No, we're not near anywhere we need to be, and definitely not good enough to try to win a game deep in the playoffs or something like nature. I think Mike McCarthy was trying to establish it early. He was running a lot of gap schemes, the counters, the things where guys were pulling and all this kind of stuff and trying to get Pollard going. But Pollard wasn't healthy. He just now got to the point where he's starting to have a little bit of explosive type stuff, actually. Yeah. And so what they were doing with him, he just didn't have the wheels, to really go. That's not talking bad about him. That's just really what it was coming off his injury. And I think Mike was, early on just trying to get it going. And then I think they realized, hey, this is not – we need to just go ahead and do what ride Dak at this point because we're not getting the running game. But I think we're going to see a change in that a little bit. Do you know how many carries Rico had this past game?
I'm going to tell you.
I think
Kelly,
he outpaced Pollard. I'm going to look it up right now. I think he outpaced Pollard.
I was just going to say while he's looking it up, I'm going to be honest with you, and George, you were at the game, and sometimes when you're at the game, your perception's different. I honestly thought we ran the ball well. And then when I looked at the numbers, I'm like, nope, it's under 4 yards a carry. It's about the same as
yeah.
But it felt different. Was it me, or did you notice that in the first half at least? I don't know. It just
it did feel different because he as in Pollard and Rico, what we've been accustomed to with Pollard is explosive runs. Think about what he did all that. He was breaking for 60 or 20 or whatever. Yeah. Now is, all right, he went for 10. That's a big run, but we ain't happy. We kind of like, man, last year he would have made that dude miss it. He would have went for 40.
Yes.
So it does look better, but the way Dak is reading things, I'm sure they're just saying, hey, bro, if you're looking out there and you see something,
start throwing it.
Just open the thing up, do what you got to do.
They've got it. So it looked like, Dowdle actually had 12 carries. Pollard had 16. They both averaged about the same, 3.7 and 3.8. Turpin actually had the longest run of the night. He had that 1 run for 22 yards when that kind of like that end around, which I've noticed that they've ran a few more of those where they've kind of implemented that in their game. Those little run sweeps with as you've seen CD run one, I think, and then Turpin, they've got him involved in that a little bit. But yeah, the run game definitely has been lacking a little bit for sure. But I don't know, George, if you see this but it seems like Dowdle seems to be, at least to me, the more physical of the two in terms of when he runs. It just runs with a little bit more physicality. Seems to kind of like be a little bit more decisive when he's hitting the hole than Pollard. And I don't know if that's just me, but it just seems like he's been the more physical of the two backs this year from what I've seen.
No, you're making my job easy over here, man, because you're just telling everybody what I was going to say because you're right. Rico is I'm going to say power back with my air quotes there because he's more of a physical presence. He's a one cut, get up the field and go kind of dude. I love that because he's very decisive. It's just go. Pollard's not really that kind of back there. I mean, he can't be one cut and go. It just he wants to maybe take an extra jump cut if he could, or something to
Right.
try to create the space, and make his way to the outside if he can. That's all right. That's the 1-2 punch. They're just different. I know you guys' mindset. You guys, I watch enough of you guys' videos and all that kind of stuff to know that y'all just hard nosed. Hey, just get downhill, man. Just hit him in the face and let's go. That's why you like Rico. Hey, look at that little ride. Hit him in the face. Let's go. So that's what that is. Pollard, they're going to have to find a way. I want to see him get in the screens, get in the passing game a little bit more, get him in the space where he needs to be. He has pretty good success rate running the ball in between tackles, but I think if they try to go off tackle with him a little bit more, start giving him what he was doing in the past, let him hit that sideline and just use his speed.
Do you and my thought with that, because I've said it, and it's like Pollard was probably a great number 2, right? If you want to call these 1 and 2s, whatever. I know the running backs, you really don't have one. I mean, Derrick Henry is probably the last, or maybe McCaffrey, the last of the guys of the workhorses or whatever. And McCaffrey still gets spelled a lot. But Pollard was so good and special at what he did is when they let Zeke go, they try, to me, and tell me if I'm wrong, is they're trying to make Pollard into Zeke and making him be that, but he was better at the 2. And I don't care that they paid him $10 million, whatever it is you pay him. Just because you paid him that doesn't mean he needs to be that. He was so special at what he was before. Let Rico be the dirty guy to get that kind of stuff, and Pollard do what you've been doing because you were special at it, and you're averaging almost 6 yards a carry, explosive plays. Do you see that? Maybe does management think this guy's getting paid? We gotta get him to be the lead dog, or no? I guess.
Oh yeah, 100%. If they paying you, they're gonna try to get that up out of you. It ain't, you gotta go be
the coaches. You're like, hey man, I'm trying to do the best thing here. I understand what you're trying to do, but that man's cashing some big checks. He's gonna be the lead dog. You know what I mean?
And that is exactly how it works. Honestly, but K9, you're not married, are you? Are you married?
No, I'm not. I'm not married. I
Right,
was married.
Well, so even now, okay, let's just say, you're dealing with this little chick. I know you said you got this little your Twitter circle. You said you had some little fine little ladies up in there or whatever. Right?
Don't get him in trouble.
But, right. So, but the point is, if you were dating or being one of those girls, there's only so much that you're gonna get. She's gonna be flashy, she's gonna be fun, y'all gonna go hang out, and you're gonna do stuff. She might come to the house for a little bit and do this other kind of stuff with you, but then she's gonna go home at the end of the night or whatever, right? So problem is, then you think, hey, that's the flash one. I need to be with that forever. And now you move her in. She ain't the same no more because now she's realized your dirty drawers laying around. Why he got this nasty curtain hanging up behind him on this thing? I don't like that, right? And all this kind of stuff. And now y'all got problems. And now you going back to your Twitter circle trying to find another one to replace. That's what's happening with our running backs, man. We think that the other one, man, that look good, man. I need to get some of that, the Garden of Eden over here. I need some of that fruit off that tree. No, you don't. Right? Make this balance work and match. Yeah, I understand the financial pieces of it way too much. Dude, we're paying that dude who's going to play. Jerry Jones don't mess around with that. I've had some pretty good conversation with Jerry Jones when I played there. One of the things, and I don't know if I said this on you guys' show before, that really told me what kind of dude this guy was, because he's so straightforward. He don't like lie to guys about stuff, right? And I remember him coming into a team meeting, and we had some knuckleheads back in the day, the old White House and all this other kind of stuff, right? And he basically kind of shut this stuff down. He said, "Listen, guys, because everybody wondered, well, how come Mike don't get in trouble when he go hang out all night, or whoever, or whatever? Why did the other guy get cut?" He came in and he said, "Listen, there's a couple different kind of guys on the team, right? There's these great players we got. If you're a great player, man, I can forget some stuff. If you help me win Super Bowls and you catching footballs or you play a really good defense, hey, man, maybe you miss a meeting, I'm good." I mean, he talking to us like this. He said, and then we got, good players, you contributing, you're doing some stuff, but you don't get the same kind of things, right? You might get away with a little bit, but I can only put up with so much. And if you just a contributor down here and you late to a meeting or something else, no, sir, we're not doing that. You don't get no leeway. Now he sat there in front of all 58 of us or 53 of us and told us that. And I was just kind of taken back, like, okay, I know my place. I just got traded here. I'm doing this stuff. Don't go wild here. Don't try to be like Mike. Because some people, they want to go run with the big dogs and do all this other stuff. And he basically said, don't do that. Them guys got Super Bowl rings. They good. I'm gonna take care of them. And so that's why he don't let people go, right? Sometimes.
Yeah.
Zeke, hey, I'm not gonna let him, man. Man, this guy did some stuff for me, man. He came out on the ledge for me. I got his back. Now you you might have to get up out of here. And I don't know if that's a fault of Jerry Jones or whatnot, but that makes him human to me. That's where I can go. And when I see him and I talk to him now, he's like, I ain't Emmett. I don't sit in the same box that Emmett and Troy and all those guys go. I might be in a box, but I ain't in the one that they in, you know. But when I see him, he goes, hey, if you need something, call me. Whatever it is, just holler. You don't know what you're gonna get. I mean, he literally told me this standing on the field, and I'm like, okay, well, I really didn't feel like I was even empowered to call him, that kind of thing. So that's a little tidbit I think that your viewers might.
No, that's
like.
That's interesting. The one thing I'd say, just is what you did. We talked about what you did with T.O. and I want to ask a follow-up question after that. But did that put you at a level with Jerry that's higher? I mean, you had a nice career with the Cowboys, but you didn't have you weren't there 9 years, your whole career, and like some of these other guys, let's just say. So, but what you did that put you above and get you in the echelon of being remembered? Because the Cowboy fans, I mean, you're a Cowboy. You're a Cowboy to us, always for what you did, and you're always going to be held at that high level. Did that sink in with Jerry when you did that?
Nah, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go there, honestly.
No. Well, he should anyway,
because they still called me in on Monday after the game and said, I got to find you, right? So it wasn't very much. It kind of been forgot. Hey, we appreciate what you did, and I probably would have did the same thing, but I need to let you know you're going to have to pay up tomorrow. The next day is coming right out of your check, So there ain't no appeal to this, So all right, but I'm really saying that, and I don't take offense to it one way or another.
Yeah.
You still got to perform on a damn field. I can do it. I can go fight and defend the star and all that. But you know what? If I wasn't covering nobody, he wasn't like he was going to be like, hey, dude, you to defend the star, we're going to give you like 2-3 more tries. Nah, bro, you better cover the damn slot. That's why we brought you here is that safety. So I think, honestly, what has me in the graces with the Jones family now is that I'm saying this humbly, okay, is that I still try to do as much as I can with the organization without putting my hand out. They're going to go do something with the Salvation Army or the North Texas Food Bank. I want to go represent the organization and just go. So me and my wife go, me and my wife and my daughter and my son go. We go into this, and then they go, okay, that's who I want to be associated with. So when I call and ask them for 2 extra tickets, it's probably okay. It might not be, in the best suite, but so I have that relationship where I can email or call Charlotte Jones and say, hey man, I'm thinking about doing something. I need something for an auction. Can you, do this for me? Yeah. Why don't you call such and such and see if we can work it out? And I honestly think that's because they know we're true Cowboy fans.
Yeah.
Where a lot of us, there'll be some players that'll be mad at me if they hear this. Well, they'll go, they just, well, because they've asked me, man, how come you always get this or that? You all right, you're the defender of the star, but you ain't Darren Woodson. It's people don't treat them the same way. They're business people too. They're still trying to figure out how can you find value? How can they find value in me? So they send me stuff, these really nice things with me in the flag. Hey, you want one of these things? Damn, hell yeah, I do. What did you? So I'm proud of that.
Yeah, that's
Anyway.
it's pretty cool. It's definitely and the star thing. What I was going to ask is, I watched your Lamar Thomas, and those who don't know, I mean, probably the more, to me, probably the more iconic photograph is the strip when you got Lamar Thomas and how far he was ahead of you. And Lamar Thomas was one of the fastest players in college football. So we went through the story. I don't want to have to bore you to go through it again, but you and Lamar Thomas through the years have had a friendship, off that play. And it could be looked at as a different thing. And I don't, I've never met Lamar. He was one of my favorite players at Miami. His energy, his everything that he had. And he's when you think of the U, I mean, he's always going to get tied to that, the old school Miami football. But I think I heard you tell a story or talk about with T.O., you guys are kind of tied at this, but there's no love lost there, or there's no friendship or anything like that with him.
No, you're right. And no, so Lamar and so we ended up playing together at the Dolphins. So I mean, we had to get back into graces a little bit there. And it's tough. It's hard when you got that. You know how guys are in the locker room. It don't matter. Something happens. So everybody's teasing him.
Dennis Erickson, I started to cut you off. Dennis Erickson was on my show, and I'll send you a clip of. He made fun of it, but go ahead. He said he never lets him forget it every time he sees him.
Yeah, so it's tough like that. But so we were able to come around and make peace. And you know how his sense of humor is, his cockiness, all that. Ain't none of that. That hasn't changed, Denny. It's just because you can hear him. He gets pretty defensive all the time when someone starts saying something. Well, he didn't tell you about '89 when we did this, and he always bringing up something. That's just who he is, and I understand that now. T.O. on the other end, there's nothing. He's talking through other people. He's big. He got a gold jacket and all that kind of stuff, and I'm happy for him. But that don't mean that we shouldn't have no kind of words about something. I don't know what it is. I've even tried to go to his own when he used to have this little club out in Birmingham. Early in his deals, he used to own this place. I would go visit. I was just trying to find a way to run into him. Like, hey man, we're gonna find a way to talk. I was being a patron of his place. Just say, hey man, I ain't got no hard feelings. It just it is what it is. We can get past it, shake hands, and go. He didn't want to do it. Still hadn't wanted to do it. So he's still throwing shade, so I'm throwing shade back. Whatever, because
I like that though. I like that, man. It's throw shade, you go get some shade thrown back at you. So that's what I like that. No, it's funny though. Every time I think about that play, it just always makes me laugh, man, because what you did, I think, was what millions of Cowboys fans wanted to happen at that time. We want everybody that was watching that. We wanted that reaction. We wanted somebody to do that, and the fact that you ran down, that's why. I mean, it's just an iconic moment, man. It'll always be for me one of the top moments in Cowboys. I just remember I'm a guy that gets up and screams and yells and cussing at the TV, and I still remember jumping up with my beer in my hand, like, not that motherfucker. Like, I mean, it was a great moment, man. So I love talking about that. That's some good shit. So if T.O. don't want to talk to George, man, that's T.O.'s loss.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we've been going over an hour, so I apologize. Do you have like maybe 10 minutes to just run through a couple things?
Yeah, absolutely.
This was asked a few times, so I just wanted to give them the opportunity. So any advice that you would give young players coming into the league today? You said too many today just don't want to put the work in Monday through Saturday. I mean, it gets us, you and I are close in age. So, I start to get that boomer mentality, they call it, where when I used to do it, we used to do this and that. And that's the way we ran. I mean, do you see these guys are top athletes? Do you see the work ethic that you had back in the day, or has it changed?
No, so my advice would be this, and I'll let you go because I think the way our society is changing a little bit is a lot of a lot of money, a lot of social media, a lot of likes, a lot of clicks. The the thing that guys need to learn coming out of college is a couple things. One of them is the NFL is a business. If you can't, the sooner you can grasp that, the better off you'll be. So although you might have this huge following and doing all that kind of stuff, man, that NFL team could give a shit. You know, they're trying to do something. You better be able to cover somebody or tackle somebody, block somebody, or something. They ain't really trying to worry about your podcast, nothing, because that ain't helping you play the doggone football game. And so they signed you a contract for you to do this. They might want you to do some marketing stuff for them that can help you, promote yourself or whatever, but it's all about being on the field. And a lot of guys will forget about that, right? They'll do this sound bad, right? You can do too much other than worry about playing in the game. You get too Hollywood, you're doing something, you're flying around, you're doing something. Hey man, they're like, oh, he ain't focused. We're trying to win this doggone game. So that's the first part. The second part is really goes into that is because of that, you need to understand what that job is. And people don't realize this. They give you 20 hours that you can be with a football player in college or whatever it is, 4 hours a day or whatever it is. You're not really getting much. I mean, there's still some rules on how much time in which you can do, but it is a 7 to 4 job. All football. You there in the morning, you're getting treatment, you eating. They got all your food there. They got the medical staff there, the people giving you chiropractic, all that kind of stuff. Film. Then they feed you. You ain't got to go nowhere, and they ain't expecting you to go nowhere because we're gonna have you here all day long. Then you got to go home, be with your folks, your wife after that. So you got to understand that you ain't going to class no more. You can't call in sick. You can't call in sick. Hey, I don't feel good. You call in, you say, man, my stomach hurt a little bit. Okay. Bring your ass on in here. Such and such doc is up here. He can take a look at you. He can give you the medicine. He can do that. And you're not even going to go home, get in bed. You're going to go lay down in the training room for the next few hours so we can check on you. We got the IV. We got all the stuff that you need right here. And that was very shocking to me because if y'all got jobs or doing whatever you want to.
We get no PTO there. You can't.
Yeah, you got no time off.
You can see your kids' recital.
Yeah, you might not see them on the field, but they probably in there laying down, sleep under some little blanket like they're in the hospital. Jerry Jones even so slick. He got his own MRI stuff at the facility. You don't even go to the doctor. You go off, your knee hurt. Oh, Blue Star Image is like attached to the building. So you just roll you over there, get your images, and we'll go back and put you back in the training room until we find out what the pictures look like. So, that is a big shock when people don't really understand that, and especially depending on what kind of program you come out of in college. One thing at Alabama, Miami, something of that nature, but you coming out of Western Kentucky or one of them multi-directional schools, you're used to all that kind of stuff, and you got to figure out how to make it.
Yeah, and it leads me to college. So the college football game today, you're seeing it now. Yeah, I saw some with Marvin Harrison. Maybe he comes back for his senior year when typically these guys would be gone, but he could make more in college than he can make in the pros for a season. And to your point, maybe minus all the other stuff that they got to go with. I mean, how do you see college football, the landscape? I mean, the transfer portal. I mean, it's just like free agency. I know Miami lost all these guys, and my son's unfortunately he grew up here, so he's a Miami fan too. But he's like, Dad, we lost this guy, we lost that guy. The days of having yourself as a freshman and you work yourself up, and you're tied. I guess those days are over. But I mean, what's your thoughts with college now?
Well, I still love college football, but I hate everything that's going on around it. And I might have both of y'all come on my show that we can actually talk about this with JT.
I'd love to.
This kind of stuff because I am pro Transfer portal, I think guys should have a chance to be added some kind of free agent. I'm pro NIL. I think some people should have some money or whatnot. I don't think any of us thought it would get to this point where people are saying, well, now you got to pay me to come visit, for the official visit, or, I need a certain amount of money. I think that's messing up the game.
Yeah.
Because there's no loyalty. Who's going to Miami now because they wanted to always be a Miami Hurricane? They're not doing that anymore. They're going because it's the best deal or something, or because the coach promised them something. Then the coach leaves, then I got to leave. They leaving when they starters and they're playing at Power 5 schools. And I don't know. I don't even know why they leaving. They're going to get drafted. They're going to do something. I hadn't even figured out why they're doing that other than it's some kind of money or something. I hate it because it's not getting the effect. It should be because, all right, well, maybe you're not starting, and you want to go do something, but they're leaving when you're. I mean, I don't like it, man. I don't like it because they got it, and there's no way they can reel this back in. I don't think.
It'll be hard to now.
They should have figured out a way to pay them.
Yeah, they kind of opened Pandora's box, and at one time I thought that maybe that the NCAA would get in there and put some type of cap on it. It just and the thing for me that I think about, I'm all for these some of these higher profile athletes, or really any of these college athletes, college football, college sports in general, they make a lot of money. So for them to make money off their likeness and images and stuff, all that, I'm fine with that. But I mean, I just keep thinking about 18, 19, 20-year-old young kids having $20 to $25 million, because we've seen rookies come into the NFL and get not even close to that kind of money and get in trouble with that money. Because I mean, me myself, I could look back on it and tell you, if somebody gave me $20 million at 18 years old, I mean, I might not even be here right now. I mean, it's just it's one of those things where there's just a lot of ramifications from it, man, that besides, just the way that it seems to have changed the college landscape, but you got to start thinking about how it can affect some of these people's lives in a negative way, just because I don't know how much guidance these people are getting with that. I mean, it's just, like I said, it's just like Pandora's box. They just opened it up. And now, like you guys said, it's going to be hard to kind of reel that back now. So I don't really know what the answer is to that.
Well, real talk, my biggest worry, fellas, is I think this is going to lead to more depression, guys doing things because there's still that much pressure. I don't know that understand. Even when you get that money, think about the guy that went to Alabama, Buckner from Notre Dame, the quarterback went in there. They gave him a lot of money to come to Bama, right? I know it. Everybody knows it. He signed whatever deal, got whatever he needed to do. He was like third string. Now, what do you think that does to that dude mentally? It's like failure that he jumps in the transfer portal for lacrosse, not for something else, for lacrosse. He didn't even play football no more, right? And I can't imagine what that does to your psyche. It bothered me when I got traded and then I got cut by the Falcons. And I'm just like in this whirlwind, like, what's next? What do you do? I still was 25, maybe, or something at that time. Now you take this 19-year-old who may be making millions of dollars and he's not performing. And now with Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and everybody, what the hell is this dude doing to get him out of here? And he don't need to be playing. That's how it's dark, right? But that's how people get hurt. That's when they start hurting themselves, when they start getting in these closets and all this other kind of stuff. And that's the part that really bothers me. But managing money, like you said, that's one different thing. But man, if they're failing, all of them aren't going to turn out like Milroe, because Milroe could have went the other way. He get benched, he get something, man. Kids are soft nowadays. They're not built like us. And you start talking about them a little bit and they mess around and open up something and there's some kind of meme of them tears coming out of their eyes or whatever. No, but they can't handle that, bro. They can't handle it.
It's just, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with college football, but think of it from this point as a player. Would this bother you if your quarterback's getting 20 million and you're blocking for him getting nothing or 500,000 or whatever? Does that is there going to be some creating of have nots in college, or creating some envy between teammates and you know, in that aspect, do you see that potentially being a problem even
Oh,
more?
absolutely, 100%. And if anybody thinks that someone might not block for a quarterback that's making all that money, getting all the shine, you better rethink it, because it does happen. Okay, yeah, that could be like it might not make it look real obvious, but it's easy for them to take the wrong kick step and be like, okay, so you better learn how to treat those guys, the quarterback in this specific instance, on knowing that, man, you ain't making that without them people in front of you. You better be trying to lobby for them. I'd be trying to do something, get them deals, buy them. Troy was the master of it, brother. I remember seeing him buy what he gave all them linemen for Christmas every year. I was like, damn, I need to be an offensive lineman. They get, it's everything, so it's not. Quarterbacks are, it's a very hard and very tough position. You can't win games without a good quarterback.
Yeah.
But if you're not taking care of them ones that are down in the grit, in the ground, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It won't be good.
I hope they figured out. I love my Cowboys. They're probably number one, but I mean, college football is very close, very close. There's nothing like going to college football games, the rivalry, and when you have all that, it's like I said, the pros is it's going to a stadium's different. It is.
Miami don't have a rivalry game anymore, do it? I think Florida State kicked y'all ass a couple.
No, we had Florida State this year. We got screwed out of that, and we're going up to Florida, and we're going to whoop their ass opening day. We got Notre Dame coming back on the schedule. I've never been to Notre Dame. That's one of my games to go. The thing with Miami, we're like the Cowboys, where our rivals are really more these other teams. It's like, I wish Miami. We're going to talk too long, so I'll cut it off
right now. Stop right now. Just stop right now talking about Miami like the Cowboys.
They are. Our rivalries are outside.
What Cowboys? Oklahoma State Cowboys? Who are you talking about?
We got 5 rings. We got 5. We got 5. Should have had 6. You guys, you got us on the 6. We should have had 7, and that's why Florida State. I laughed at them, and I'm glad Lamar Thomas said it, because that 2000 season we beat them, and then we beat.
He butt hurt, man. That happened like 30 years ago. Happened like 30 years ago, man. What are we talking about?
Hold on.
Wait, do you understand? I'm a Cowboys fan too, so I got to hold on to these Super Bowls, man. It's been a long time.
All right.
Anyway, no, we're gonna let you get out, but we had so much. Kelly, anything else? We've been going so long.
No, I was just gonna say, man. As you guys know, man, I'm a Texas Tech fan. We have never experienced a national championship. We, our best thing is like going to a bowl game, like a mid-tier bowl game, and makes guys like me happy. So I'm just gonna say this. I'm no bandwagon fan. I don't jump on nobody's bandwagon, but George, I'm gonna be rooting for your Crimson Tide this year in the playoffs, man. So I hope you guys do it, man. I appreciate greatness, and ain't nobody like Nick Saban, man. That guy you can never count that guy's teams out, man. It seems like every year they have one of them early losses, they bounce back, and here they are, man. And they earned it, man. They earned it. They went out there and they took it to Georgia. So hope y'all get it.
Yeah.
All right, well, I appreciate it, man. And whatever that is, y'all say, guns up or something.
Yes,
I don't know what y'all do or whatever. But I appreciate it. Thank y'all for having me on, man. It was a good time. I do appreciate it. I love what y'all do. Love y'all content. Thank you, all you peoples out there chatting with me and everything.
Definitely
I'm sure
good.
I'll catch y'all at another game before it's over with.
Yep, we'll be there. And thank you so much. I predicted Alabama to win, so I've got you and Texas, a rematch, and I think Alabama beats Texas. So, but we can do some college football. And there's one last thing. On my bucket list, you see I interview former players. The bucket list I have, and I don't know if I think he was on your show, Derek Lassick is one of the guys. If he ever comes on your show, you have me. I just want to talk to him about that Cowboy season was so interesting to me. What he had to do and replace Emmitt Smith. I love getting to talk to guys
I
about.
bet he'll come on. I'm pretty cool with him. He did come on the show. Now that was just a few weeks ago or whatever.
Yeah.
We're pretty tight. I'll tell him about you.
I just love it. You know, I show love. I won't say too much about Miami. I'll keep it fair.
He was the MVP. You can say whatever you want.
I know. Hey, man, I know. Ran all over us. I know. It's one of those bad memories I have, and I never forget my dad. Our neighbor was Bama. My dad, because we beat you earlier, a couple years before, and everyone.
You sound like Lamar Thomas.
I know. That's Miami. But boy, you guys beat the hell out of us. My dad was so mad. Oh, it was terrible. So anyway,
let it go, man. Let it go, man. You
know what?
I'm gonna send you the Cowboy picture, but I'm also gonna send you the Alabama picture. You better put that bitch up somewhere.
I will. You got my word. You got my word. I appreciate it, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. Make sure you check out Teague's Take on his podcast. Follow him on Twitter. All that great stuff. He is a legend in the Cowboys world. Will always be a Cowboy. Won't be a Packer. Won't get out of any of that. So you guys have a good one. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Take care.
Yep. Deuces.
Take it over. Yeah.